Hello children, nice to be back to you all once again. So today we are going to start with a new chapter, a very beautiful chapter, Lost Spring. Now right from the title, you must be wondering what exactly is the title hinting at, why it is spring and how the spring is lost suddenly. Because if it is lost, it is going to come back again. Spring season is always coming back every year. But the meaning of this title is not the spring season. It is the spring. Yes, it is true. Spring means what? Spring means green, freshness, energy. So this is all like a part of spring season. Everywhere we find youth and vitality. So this youth and vitality, when do we have? When we are small children. Our childhood is the spring season of our life. So the whole title, Lost Spring, the complete title hints at the stories. Now you will listen and you will see and read the stories when childhood that has been taken away. What happens to those children? Children, we are blessed with our childhood, and yes, we are growing up. You children are growing up day by day. At the same time, when you are alone with yourselves, you all know what a blessed childhood you people have got. But some children, they have lost their childhood due to some reason or the other. And so we will find out from this story what can be those reasons when children of your age lose their childhood. Right? So we are moving on. About the author, Indus Jung, 1964. He was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. So Indus Jung, she is the author, and she was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. There are other lines about the author, but this is the introductory line which I have highlighted and which I would like all of you to remember. Right? Now come down and discover the pains of losing childhood. Right? Looking for, notice these expressions in the text, infer their meaning from the context. Now looking for, actually before we begin, let me just introduce these expressions to you. Looking for means searching for, right? Slog their daylight hours. Slogging means just hard working. Any kind of hard work is known as slogging. Roof over his head means shelter. A roof over somebody's head means shelter for that person. Perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual means continuous state of poverty means poor, state of being poor. Any poor state or state of being poor is known as the state of poverty. Perpetual means never ending. Dark hutments. Dark hutments means dark huts. You know the villages, they are full of huts. In villages we find huts as our homes. So those homes are dark. Imposed the baggage on the child. Imposed the load, the responsibility on the child. Right? Now children, without wasting too much time, I am taking you to the story. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib, whom I encountered. Encounter means meet. Every morning scrounging for gold. Scrounging means hunting for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. So he is asking, why you keep on doing this? Why you hunt like this in the garbage dump? Sahib left his home long ago set amidst the fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a his home is not even a distant memory. There were storms that swept away their fields and homes, his mother tells him. So you can very well see that Sahib is from Dhaka. This is the first story we are going to read. There are two stories. One is about Sahib. The other one is about Mukesh. So first one is about Sahib. I would like to now take you to his childhood, and what is wrong with his childhood we will find out. So he has left his home in Dhaka. Okay, and he is now searching, leaving behind green fields, leaving behind his home. He is now looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. I have nothing else to do. He mutters. He mutters means he just says something looking away. Go to school, I say glibly. Realize glibly means quickly I say go to school. Realizing immediately how hollow the advice might sound. Now the author realized, if I'm asking such a poor child to go to school, what a stupid advice I'm giving. Hollow means empty advice. How can a poor child searching for something in the garbage go to school? Right? Glibly I have told you already. Quickly. Okay? We are moving on now to the next part. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. So this part has been highlighted because it shows Sahib has got an interest to go to school. That is why it has been highlighted. Please highlight the similar lines or the similar portions in your text so that if any question is asked in between the lines, you will be able to answer. So these particular lines show his eagerness to join a school. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. Children, adults sometimes make many promises which they are not able to keep. So the author had made a promise which he did not mean at all. But he made the promise to please the child. And the child comes running, believing the author, trusting him. The child comes running to him. Is your school ready? But the author says that yes, it takes longer to build a school. So the school was not ready because he never meant to build a school. The author never thought of building a school. Just like that, to please Sahib, he had asked that if I start a school, will you come? See, read this line. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. It doesn't matter. There are many promises that Sahib has heard like this, time and again, from each and every one. Abound means plenty of promises in every corner of his bleak world, of his dull world, where there is no childhood, no joy. After months of knowing him, I ask his name. Sahib-e-Alam. He announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe. Sahib-e-Alam means the Lord of the universe. He would have a hard time believing it. Now this portion is highlighted because Sahib-e-Alam means he happens to be the Lord of the universe. Unfortunately, this child is not even the Lord of his own self. He has given up his own self to the destiny. We will come to know how it was, and we will just see what an irony, what a twist of fate it was for Sahib. Unaware of what his unaware means, not knowing of what his name represents, he roams in the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys. An army means a group of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. They come, they appear like the morning birds and disappear. They go away at noon. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I ask one. My mother didn't bring them down from the shelf. Answers simply. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another who is wearing shoes that do not match. When I comment on that, comment on it means comment on the shoes that is not matching, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. He just shuffles, he just changes his feet and says nothing. I want shoes, said a third boy, who has never owned a pair. This third child has never got a pair all his life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children barefoot in the cities. I have seen children barefoot in the cities on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. So if this question is asked, what explanation did the children give to stay barefoot? You will please remember to write, it was a tradition. They had explained it was a tradition to stay barefoot. I wonder. I'm sorry. Yes, children, I'm sorry I had lost the page, so I have to go back a bit, and we are coming back. We are coming back once again. See, the explanation given here is the tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. I wonder. I'm coming down. I'm scrolling down. Hold on. If this is an excuse to explain a perpetual state of poverty. Who wondered? Who wondered, children? The author wondered if this is only an excuse to explain. The children, they had explained themselves why they were going barefoot. What was the explanation? It is a tradition. Now sometimes when we want to hide a bitter, a very, very sad truth, a sad fact, then we say something that is to be believed. Now, some genuine reason we do not say. We say something else that is taken to be the real reason. So here they have made up, here they thought of some reason that it is a kind of tradition, and that is why they were going barefoot. It is not the real reason. Mind it. It is just they thought of it to explain so that they are not humiliated, not embarrassed. I remembered a story a man from Udupi once told me. As a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. Nobody was there 30 years later. In the backyard where lived the new priest, there were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me never lose them. The goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes, but many others like the rag pickers in my neighborhood remain shoeless. Now see, this is just not highlighted. It is just a story shared with you when a small child prays for a pair of shoes. And 30 years later, when the author visited that temple, he found a young boy wearing shoes, and he compared with another boy that made the prayer to the goddess, and he got finally a pair of shoes. So it is just like young boys of the son of the priest now wore shoes. When the father prayed, the father did not get one, but his child has got one. Young boys like the son of the priest, when the priest was small, he had prayed for a pair of shoes. He did not get, but his son has got. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes, but there are many others who did not get shoes and they remain shoeless, like Sahib-e-Alam, a rag picker. By the way, do you know the meaning of rag picker? Rag picker means those who are going around picking garbage throughout the day. They are known as rag pickers. My acquaintance, my meeting with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri. Where is Simapuri? Where are these rag pickers staying? They are all staying at Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, a place on the border of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically. Look, think of Delhi. Delhi is the capital, yet so close to Delhi, staying so close on the borders of Delhi. They are far, far away from the capital. They are nowhere close to Delhi because they live. I'm sorry, this is taking the color. I'm trying to scroll properly, but it is taking the blue color. Please do not get distracted. Those who live here are squatters, means the refugees who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. In 1971, they had come to Delhi, but they are absolutely without any single advantage, any single facility that Delhi is offering to its people. Sahib's family is one among them. Simapuri was then a wilderness. Simapuri was then, when Sahib had come in 1971, Simapuri was a wilderness. Wilderness means empty place. It still is, but it is no longer empty. In structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage. There is no sewage or drainage or running water. Sewage system is not there. Sewage means the drainage and the dirty water, how it has to be drained. Those things are not there. Live 10,000 rag pickers. So in structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, without running water, without drinking water, without proper drainage, without proper sewage, 10,000 rag pickers live there. They have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity, without permits, but with ration cards. Again, the highlighted portion, because it is again going to be important for answering your questions. But with ration cards that get their names on voters' lists and enable them to buy the grain. Food is more important for survival than an identity. They do not need any identity other than food. So if at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without a paining, there is always an aching stomach. If at the end of the day we are able to feed our families, they means the rag pickers of Simapuri would rather live there in Simapuri than in the fields of Bangladesh that give them no rain. The fields of Bangladesh give them no rain, no grain. And that is why they prefer to live here in Simapuri, leaving their homes, leaving their green fields, because this is the place where they can get something to feed their stomach. When I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green field and rivers, wherever they find food, they pitch their tents. Whenever they find food, wherever they find food, they build their tents. I'm sorry once again. Yes, that become their transit homes, that become their mobile homes. Children grow up in them. Children grow up in the mobile homes, becoming partners in survival. Children, have you heard of that phrase, partners in crime? When two people are doing something together, they are known as partners in crime. Similarly, children grow up with the adults and they become partners in survival with the adults. And survival? What is the survival in Simapuri? It means rag picking. Without that, there is no occupation, no survival. Throughout the years, it has acquired the proportions of a fine art. It has developed, it has improved so much that it has become a kind of an art. Garbage to them is gold. It is that why the garbage to them is gold? It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads. Garbage to them is gold because it is their daily bread, it is their food, it is their shelter, even if it is a leaking roof. But for a child, it is even more. How it is even more, my children? Look at that. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note, says Sahib, his eyes lighting up, his eyes becoming bright. When you find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging, for there is hope of finding more. Scrounging means you do not stop hunting. When you find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, it seems that for children, it is a world of wonder. Garbage means gold. They can find anything. They are finding their wonder. In wonder means a lot of surprise is hidden in that garbage for them. So they do not stop hunting in the garbage. What it means to their parents. For children, it is wrapped in wonder. For children, the garbage is full of that magic treasure island. Okay, they can find any number of coins. We don't know. It is a kind of treasure island. But for the elders, for the adults, it is a means of survival. So, rag picking, adults also take up because it is a means of survival for them. One winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fenced gate of the neighborhood club, watching the two young men dressed in white playing tennis. I like the game, he hums, content, happy to watch it standing behind the fence. I go inside when no one is around, he admits. The gatekeeper lets me use the swing. Sahib too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. The tennis shoes do not go with his shirt and shorts. Someone gave them to me, he says, in a matter of explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes, they were thrown away by some rich boy who refused to use them, who refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them. But this hole does not bother Sahib. For the one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. So it doesn't matter to Sahib because he was without shoes, he was walking bare feet. And so it is a dream come true. Getting a pair of shoes was like a dream come true. But the game he is watching so intently that tennis is out of his reach. He can never make it. This morning Sahib is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister, is a steel jug. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says, pointing in the distance. I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I ask. His face, I see, has lost the childish, carefree look. The steel canister seems heavier. That steel jug, the steel container. Why that face lost the carefree, childish look? Because that steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag. The steel canister seems heavier. It is more heavy than the plastic bag which he used to carry so lightly over his shoulders. The bag was his. That garbage bag. That plastic bag belonged to him. Right? That is why this line is here. The bag was his. That freedom, that garbage bag, it was his. The freedom was with him. It was over his shoulder. But now when he has got this job in the tea shop, the canister belongs, his freedom belongs to the man who owns the tea shop. His freedom is no longer his freedom. It now belongs to the man who owns the tea shop. Sahib is no longer his own master. So that is all for now. Please listen to the video if you have to and come back to me with your doubts whenever you feel like. Right? That is all. Have a nice day.